What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Yala. Your thrice weekly podcast where we talk about the hottest news and the buzziest topics with some musical interludes as well. And with a touch of what, Terence?
A touch of good old humor.
Good
Wow, it's
old
been a
humor.
while.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. And I mean, I already had some friends messaging us. I think haven't seen much on Reddit, but if you've been listening to this podcast for a while, you're probably wondering where the fuck have we been the last week, right? Because we dropped on with our longtime friend Sudhir like a week-ish ago, and then last week there was nothing. But why, Terence?
Yeah, I mean, I had another bout of bad throat. I think there's a lot of speculation as to whether it's related to COVID. Maybe I have long COVID, maybe I have. But at the same time, I also have a toddler at home who, is as again, I'm going to throw him under the bus and say there's probably a lot to do with it. But my own immunity probably also has been suspect since COVID happened and everything.
I tell you, in 15 years' time, like when your kid finally listens to this podcast, he's going to realize what an asshole his dad is for using him as a reason for bad throat for how long already?
Right. Yeah. Or vice versa, These things, they pass around.
Why vice versa?
But yeah, bad throat, then it was National Day. But honestly, I think last week we did want to do another episode. The real issue we had was that we didn't find something that we felt was something really, really strong that we wanted to talk about either, right?
I think more specifically, the only time we could record was Friday at like 11:30 p.m. Because there were things that happened during the week. Like after NDP, confirmed there were things to talk about. Yeah. But on Friday night, it was just couldn't settle on something, and then we figured, okay, come Monday, let's get back on track. I'm sure people were thinking that, Yalabat is in decline. They denied it a few months ago. No, man, no. Just I think what would help, right, is because we posted on Reddit and Instagram that we're not going to be recording for a while. So if you get like separation anxiety, right, just follow us on Reddit and Instagram, man, because that's where we update our recording status or plan for the week.
Yeah, and we're still updating our social media, even if there's no podcast out, because as you know, there's always like a video or something being edited at any point in time as well for podcasts. So the studio video as well is being edited as we speak.
And when we polled the Reddit audience asking, in times where we can't record, would like re-uploads of our favorite episodes make sense? Yeah, it wasn't the most popular thing. So we're not going to go down that path. But we are also exploring other options where, let's say if one of us can't make it, we just get a guest co-host. So, like Jimmy Kimmel does, he takes a family trip, or he's down, he just gets a guest. So so we might experiment with that in the coming weeks, because I'm going to be traveling for a friend's wedding. Darren's going to be having his second kid. So lots of things happening, but we're not going to fucking stop. We're not going to fucking stop.
Yeah, the thing is the news cycle never stops. And I think last week NDP, a lot of people were talking about various parts of it. Yeah, as well, the stuff that happened. But yeah, did you enjoy the NDP and everything?
I caught the last 45 minutes. And I actually enjoyed it, man. In the sense that I thought it felt like, okay, there's a nice story. Of course, some performances were a bit cheesy, but I mean, it's a National Day parade. Of course, it's going to be cheesy, right? Yeah. But just seeing that many people in one area and like seeing Rishi kind of be NDP host, pretty dope, pretty dope.
Yeah, I think that was a big highlight just to catch Rishi on the show. Yeah. And he'd been building up his 110 days of building up his six packs and
six-pack for NDP.
Wow, the anticipation for people who knew in the know was a lot. And then I think everything that came out of it generally has been quite positive. Yeah. I mean of course there were mishaps along the way, right, with the Red Lion and all that. But he's fine. Then there was that crying man viral image, but it wasn't a negative thing either, right? He was expressing real emotion, and thankfully that also gives us something to talk about today as well,
which is our second topic.
Yeah,
correct.
But before that, we have our first topic, right?
Yeah, we have our first topic, and the first topic is not really NDP related at all. In fact, it is anything but National Day parade. It is the big news that Orchard Towers clubs and bars are going to be required to shut by May 2023 because they 12 commercial units, 12 bars and clubs have been notified that their public entertainment licenses will not be renewed beyond May 2023.
That's right.
Yeah, this came out about 2 days ago. But before we dig into the weeds of it, why did you want to talk about this?
I think it's something that is quite iconic in our national psyche, right? Orchard Towers. In the sense that when you mention Orchard Towers, everyone kind of knows. Adults, at least adults generally will know what you're talking about and the kind of clientele that hangs out there, and a lot of the shady business that happens there as well. But they also, in the same breath, people also mention some of the best Thai food that they've ever had in Singapore. They've had at Orchard Towers and food lah. There's good food there as well lah. So the fact that the face of Orchard Towers is going to change drastically come May 2023, I think it's just worth bookmarking as a bit of a interesting milestone in Orchard Road history lah.
But that's where it gets a little interesting, right? Because as much as you say what was the term you used? The face of Orchard Towers will change. What was it?
Yeah.
In the sense you're talking about the general impression where it's not the most wholesome place. You're not going to go there with your kids to walk around. Because even though it is a mall, the shops and retailers there, not the most family friendly. Aside from the food.
Maybe can you just, for those maybe who don't actually know about Orchard Towers that much, maybe just your understanding of it when people go to Orchard Towers, and what do you experience when you go there?
Yeah, so Orchard Towers right now, I also got long COVID here. Orchard Towers right now, there's 2 buildings. There's a bit of residences that's connected to the Orchard Towers. There's offices and there's commercial retail outlets. So the commercial retail outlets range from nightclubs to bars to massage parlors and beauty salons. So there's that mix, and of course restaurants, right? Restaurants and eateries and cafes and all that. But it's been around since 1975. Interestingly enough, 1975, it started off very wholesome. Do you know the history of Orchard Towers?
A little bit, but please.
Yeah, so it opened in 1975, right? When it was set to be like a retail hub. And in 1977, there was a Nonya food competition there, and there are pictures of this young boy in front of what I assume is like ayam buah keluak, which is chicken cooked with buah keluak. And the competition was presided by Lee Kuan Yew's mom as the judge, right? But over the years, it kind of slowly made way to a cinema. No, not say it made way lah. There was food areas, there was food contests, and then the first cinema on Orchard was actually at Orchard Towers. It was called the Premier Theatre. It was 16,000 square feet, right?
Yeah.
But then a few years later, a nightclub took over the space that the theatre held, and it was called Top 10. Top 10, an iconic nightclub. And then it closed, and then it reopened as Top 5. Top 5. So then after that, other nightclubs like Ipanema, Naughty Girls. By 1980s, there were a lot of nightclubs and massage parlors. And then slowly, these sort of underground shady businesses started popping up. And then it started making the news because people were getting caught for running prostitution rings or providing sexual services at the back of massage parlors and nightclubs. And then more recently, unfortunately, there were murders there. And fucking horrible stuff happening, and you start seeing.
The most recent one was in 2019?
2019,
when a man was slashed. Not in broad daylight, but I think it was 6 a.m. or something.
Yeah.
He was slashed, his throat was slashed at the entrance of Orchard Towers.
Yeah.
And he died on the spot, right?
Yeah.
Then I think 8 people in total were charged with his murder. And I think one of them is still
on trial.
Yeah.
And then Orchard Towers, I mean, in parallel with that, it started getting nicknames of like the 4 floors of Hawes. There are a bunch of walking tours, like Orchard Towers walking tours on YouTube, where people just, I don't know, they hold a camera like in their pocket or something, and they just give you an insight into what walking around Orchard Towers is like. And if anyone in Singapore has been to Orchard Towers on a like weekend night, you can get a feel, right?
That's right.
Yeah, my fiance used to work at a small company in Orchard Tower like way back, and she said like after 5 p.m. everyone just fucks off because then the vibe changes So I mean, I don't know about the younger generation, like maybe the people, the NS boys or the uni people, what their impression of Orchard Towers is. But for most people, like what you say, it has that. If someone says they're going Orchard Towers, you immediately get something in your mind, right? Because recently also like with social media, there have been more and more videos of like fights outside Orchard Towers. There are videos of people having sex outside Orchard Towers, in public.
Yeah, in public.
Yeah, so it has that vibe. So this announcement coming was I wouldn't say a shocker, but it's interesting. It's interesting.
I think, and the other thing also is just you step into there, you feel like you walk back to like the 80s or 90s. The insides of it are still very, very much haven't changed that much. They haven't refurbished or anything. But I think the bigger thing you see there is that there's a lot of tourists who go there. And I'm talking about tourists meaning, expatriate men, who go there looking for companionship. And also, tourists who are sitting outside the massage establishments or the clubs, just loitering around waiting to talk to people and all. So you get a sense of what is happening there. Singaporeans, most Singaporeans, I don't think that then, if you're not, even if you're just looking for a night out, Orchard Towers is usually not an option that way, right?
Yeah.
Depends. I mean, of course, unless you're the minority group that enjoys going there for various reasons. Usually, you say a night out, you go to Clarke Quay or that. It still feels much more. Wholesome compared to what goes on at Orchard Towers, right?
Terrence, you're a prude, Terrence. You never thought on Friday night, where better to go than Orchard Towers, man.
Of course. Yeah, the Thai food there. The Thai food there is really good.
You go library, is it? Friday night, you go library.
No. I have been there for the Thai food specifically. And it's really good. It's really good. But I've heard it's closing down already, yeah.
And there were outlets like Boom Boom Room also, right? That was there, right?
Oh, is it? I'm not sure. Have you been to Boom Boom Room? Did you go before?
Was it Boom Boom Room? Boom Boom Rooms. Yeah, it was. Oh, where did Boom Boom Room? Where is Boom Room? Where is the original Boom Boom Room? Oh shit!
In essence, I guess one big question is, do you think that the closing of these massage parlors, does that mean the end of Vice on Orchard Road?
No, that's the thing. The massage parlors are not going to be closed. The notice is only for nightclubs and bars.
Yeah, so, but isn't it an ecosystem? I mean, if there's no nightclubs there, then who are the people who are going to be patronizing the massage establishments and all?
No, but I mean, even if people want a massage or people want the supposed things that some massage parlors provide as additional unofficial services, I think they will travel to fucking anywhere, right? So, but therein lies the little trickiness, because according to the police, right, what they publicly said was that the law and order situation in Orchard Towers remains as of concern and has not improved over the years. And that they have consistently received a high volume of strong feedback from nearby residents and neighboring developments over concerns on public safety, etc., etc. So, what the nightclubs and bars who have been served these notices are kind of voicing out is that, but there are other outlets in Orchard Towers, like the massage parlors and beauty salons, that they feel contribute to the risk. But then the thing is, even legally, beauty salons are not required to apply for a police license, unless massage services or treatments are provided. So
that's right.
you can imagine that there would be a lot of these unofficial businesses that happen that are not nightclubs or bars.
Yeah.
Because Orchard Towers will still remain, right? It's just the nightclubs and bars will have to move out by 2023. So that's where it's tricky because like what you say is an ecosystem. Like the whole building works in its mysterious ways to propagate this sort of like image and businesses lah.
Yeah. But isn't there the thought that if you really want to stop, so not say stop, contain the vice lah, it would actually make more sense to keep it in one area lah, right? Like one building, one area. And let's say
prostitution
now it's
in
like Orchard
Geylang,
Towers.
like prostitution in Geylang, right?
Yeah. So in some sense, hasn't Orchard Towers, because I mean, it's true that Orchard Road is a tourist destination and everything, right? So you keep all that kind of activity at that corner of Orchard Road, and then more towards the Tanglin side, as away from the main belt Orchard Road. Isn't that wouldn't that be a good thing if you were the Singapore Police Force?
But then,
as opposed to letting it spread out to other places.
But wouldn't it be a better thing to not have it along Orchard Road? Like, okay, I can imagine because just digging into the background over the past few, past couple of months, February 2022, there was already talk about a possible Orchard Tower sale.
Talking about en bloc sale.
Yeah, the real estate company that owns Orchard Towers is Hyap Ho. And there was a potential collective sale of Orchard Towers being mooted lah. Right. So then, I mean, okay, this is, I guess, I don't know, tinfoil hat or amateur real estate mogul talking, but you can imagine that if they want to sell the building, anywhere on Orchard Road is still prime property lah, right?
Yeah.
So rather than contain all these vice activities on a stretch of Orchard Road, because Orchard Towers, even in the close vicinity, you get like more normal, wholesome commercial buildings.
Right next door, or right opposite is Forum and all. It's very family. It's a family-oriented
Suddenly the
mall
Toys R Us in Forum also, you ask for a specific toy, they bring you, then you get a happy ending somewhere.
No, so that's the scary thing lah. If they shut down or they push out all these operators, wouldn't they try to spread out a little bit into the vicinity?
No, then move elsewhere lah, like outside of Orchard.
Of course, moving elsewhere would be ideal for everyone, but maybe it's not ideal for them because it's just a place that they're used to, and it's their neighborhood lah, sort of, so to speak.
Yeah, it's your neighborhood. Well, you can imagine, okay, if there are property developments coming up there, if there's people banging on doors of like the wanting to set up spaces or commercial offices in Orchard Road, if there's one building to go, feels like Orchard Towers is like going to be like, okay, you guys fuck off. Because there are other buildings along Orchard Road that also have that shady feel, right? But maybe they're not so much front and center in public, in media. But if you are the owner of Orchard Towers, or if you want to redevelop that place, can you imagine like once these 12 nightclubs and bars go off in 2023, to talk to potential tenants, I imagine you're going to only appeal to a certain type of potential tenant.
Correct.
Right? You're not going to get like a fancy restaurant or a wholesome cafe there. When
you might, maybe they open a Uniqlo or Decathlon there, and then the whole thing will change.
Don Donkey, Donkey, Uniqlo, Decathlon. So while some of your friends can go get these happy endings, you can also get your own type of happy ending through getting a nice pair of shoes.
Yeah.
All right. So
it is. So what you're saying is that they want to change the tenant mix to make it more attractive for sale. That's what you're saying.
Maybe because literally, like if you Google Orchard Towers sale, there has been talk since February, right?
Yeah.
And if you know, once it makes the media, chances are this talk started earlier than that. But yeah, so feels like okay, all right, interesting.
So I mean, it's but I'm just trying to think, because you live in like in the east right?
Yeah.
And you've seen places like Joo Chiat, for example.
Yeah.
get very gentrified over the years, right?
Yeah.
Gentrified, I mean it in the sense that what used to feel like a very old school, neighborly, kind of place, now is like, bars and cafes and very hipster, hip kind of hangouts for young people and all that. I mean, doesn't that like dilute the personality, the personality of the place itself becomes secondary to all these commercial interests?
Oh yeah, of course. I think okay. So first of all, the interim step is I think it confuses the personality because Joo Chiat is a interesting example because during COVID, right, when there was all this how you say restrictions on KTVs and all that, a lot of the KTVs there couldn't operate, and they have fucked down of KTVs there, right?
Yeah,
there's a bunch of places that is the kind of outlet it's just black in front with 2 doors that goes in. It's like a portal to another dimension. You open, you go in, and like you're transported through this world.
Welcome to Stranger Things.
Yeah, that's right. So all those couldn't function, and then there were a bunch of things that popped up during COVID along Joo Chiat, like cafes and bread. Where they say, "Oh, we get our grains from this hand massage tree that is fed with the pulp of nectar."
Different kind of massage, not the usual massage.
Yeah, the nectar of earth, put into this artisanal bread that will cost you $17 for a slice. You get a whole bunch of that shit. So a few months ago, when restrictions started opening up, it was very weird walking down Joo Chiat because on one hand you see this artisanal bread and all, then next door is some fucking KTV, and then you walk and then coffee shop, prawn mee, then you see some spin studio and all that with loud music, fit bodies, then another KTV. So it's just like a clash, and it feels like, oh, okay, is it going to be inevitable that all these KTVs will be phased out lah? So that's the stage where Joo Chiat is right now for me lah. It's not fully gentrified yet.
Okay, but still retains the character lah.
It's like a weird character.
So, but if it was up to you, would you want all the KTVs gone?
I wouldn't say I want all lah. I wouldn't want all.
No personality, right? No personality after that, right?
But then would I want to live like near a KTV? Probably not. Because we have also filmed inside a KTV, right?
Yes.
For our TV show that is still not able to see the light of day.
But more specifically a Thai disco.
Oh, that's true.
It was a Thai disco.
And it was literally like you open the door during daylight, like you go in at 1 p.m, you go in, it's like you lose your sense of time. I mean, they were great to work with. They allowed us to film there, but it really feels like, whoa, okay, this is it's not the most wholesome place. So would I want to live next to it or nearby? I would say, I would rather it's another outlet. So then it becomes the NIMBY thing. I want it for personality, but I don't want it so close to me.
Yeah. But your line of thinking is essentially what pushed places like Zouk, for example. When Zouk was at Jakim Street or that. That kind of pushed Zouk out of the area, right?
That's the thing lah.
It's kind of like, and then it has to go to Clarke Quay, and it's in this very, it just doesn't have the same personality as before. And then a lot of people's memories also gone with it lah, right?
Yeah, but there's a tricky thing, right? Every time I'm like, oh fuck gentrification, but do I want the KTV next to my house? No. But then for you, like what do you feel about that?
I think maybe the difference is the law and order aspect of things. It seems like a lot more bad stuff happens in Orchard Towers when I compared to like at Zouk or something. I mean, Zouk maybe a couple of drunken brawls here and there, but the stuff going on Orchard Towers was really like next level.
People
like
murdered,
literally, being slashed in at the entrance of the with a, I don't even know how to pronounce it, karambit knife. Or something like that. That's like a very unique kind of knife that is made to like I slaughter animals, I suppose. Things like that happen. You don't see anywhere else in Singapore lah. So if the Singapore police force feels like, okay, enough is enough. Yes, this place is where vice is contained, but it's getting a bit much and it's making people uncomfortable. The general public uncomfortable about the place already. Then maybe that's where it's not even about how people feel about it, but it's just about how much impact it's having on the community already, right? Yeah. So I'm not. I do feel steps needed to be taken to not say clean up lah, but even just what let's see what happens when after they remove these establishments lah, like what will pop up in their place and all lah.
Yeah.
So maybe, I think that will affect the law and order quite a bit.
Maybe we're already converging towards this new kind of category of retail outlets that need to be spawned lah. It's like an artisanal happy ending place. Artisanal massage parlor where after your happy ending is over, you're given like a baby wipe with like aloe vera from the mountains of Sardinia or something. So you elevate what is happening already, but you kind of like give it its due respect lah. You regulate it. You give them like waiting areas where they can have like don't know what, chamomile tea and shit like that. So it's artisanal KTVs and artisanal nightclubs and artisanal massage parlors.
I mean, hand massage. You get hand massage bread and other kinds of massages at the same time.
That's right. Well, your one body part is getting massaged by some hands. You eat something that was also massaged by hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? To the same level of with the same level of love and dexterity lah.
Yeah.
Fuck, another brilliant business idea.
Yeah, that would be a very unique retail offering concept.
That's right.
For Singaporeans.
Yeah.
Still not entirely family friendly, but unique nonetheless.
Yeah, unique. And you elevate it lah, And you can provide like stealth identity. You come in, they never ask for your name. It's just like one of those like posh happy endings lah.
Yeah.
And it's regulated. It's regulated.
Yeah, regulated as well. That's a necessary part.
Yeah.
But if you go on Reddit, actually there's a quite the thread discussing this in the Singapore Reddit thread. I think there's a couple of people who talk about their experience being police officers or at least NSF police officers patrolling Orchard during whether it's at night and or during public holidays and things like that. And there's always this common thread that it's the vice or the law and the disorder that goes on at Orchard Towers is next level compared to places like Clarke Quay and all that lah. And that's where it gets quite concerning, considering that like you say, it's a family friendly establishments all around the vicinity. Yeah.
I see. Yeah, I mean that is true lah. That is true. So it's just interesting to see how like what happens next lah. Because that's something that you're seeing a lot of in Singapore, right? You have these oldish establishments making way for new establishments, and what happens in between lah. I think there was another article today about some hawker stall also that's wanting to close, some porridge stall that is selling their recipe for 500k. It just feels like shit. Like it is the transition lah. It is the transition.
Yeah, especially post COVID lah, right?
Yeah. So I mean, and if anyone listening has experience either working or having to patrol Orchard Towers because of your NS experience, it'd be great if you can share your thoughts on our Reddit, man.
Yeah, I would love to hear like people who frequent Orchard Towers lah, how they feel about it lah. I think that's the most important.
Don't worry, we won't disclose your Reddit name or something. You can just say. Then I mean, Reddit keeps your identity safe, what?
But maybe they frequent like you said lah, like your fiance because of work or something like that. They have to frequent.
Oh, so you're saying I just projected a stereotype lah on anyone who frequents.
Yeah, exactly. I'm saying for a different. Maybe you work there or something. I'm not talking about you go there for entertainment only lah.
Yeah, exactly. That is true.
Yeah.
Cool.
But speaking of things that will make grown men cry, I mean, the closing of Orchard Towers definitely will make some grown men cry. But our next topic is about the idea of grown men crying, right?
Yes.
And what was it triggered by?
It was triggered by during the NDP, the National Day Parade, when they played the national anthem towards the end. The camera just cut to a close-up of a gentleman who was standing up, and like tears were streaming down his face as he was singing the national anthem lah. And I think anyone who was watching it probably had the same thought, like this one confirm go viral, one. Confirm go viral. And true enough, like within an hour, he was already gone viral. There've been a bunch of articles that have been written about him. He's a teacher in a school. His name is Mr. Azwan Tan. And yeah, it's just like him. A lot of it was just him sharing why he felt so proud and patriotic. It's because he's born in Singapore. He's like 41. He knows he's very proud of how Singapore has come over the years. It's something his parents are very proud of, and now he's a father of 3. So then there's been a lot of commentary about crying in public. Should men cry in public? So that's why we thought it'd be interesting, given that we are 2 men. Yeah. So when you saw that, did you see that live?
Yes, I saw the image live of him crying and singing the national anthem. Yeah, it was quite a. I mean, you knew that it was a big deal, It wasn't. You don't see people so publicly expressing their emotions usually, like that.
Yeah, correct, exactly. But when you saw it, what were you thinking?
What was I thinking?
Yeah.
I mean, I can totally understand why he cried, And I mean, I've not shied away from it before. I mentioned that there are different people. I think people have different triggers for them. Like even for myself, it's about sometimes when I watch movies also, the most it's about the most well put together scenes and just like in terms of when the story really just captures me and all that, and there's a tension and then there's a release. Even for me, those are very like wow. I feel something and for someone at a live event like NDP.
Wait, just to clarify, the interesting about you is it's not just the sad moments. You're saying even a well put together car chase scene can make you cry.
Yeah, actually, a beautiful action sequence makes me want to cry. A beautiful, well put together dialogue scene, even that can make me like, wow, that's done so well.
You cannot leave the detail out because people say, oh, those cry movies and everyone cry. What? No, but if there's a car chase scene or a fight scene in John Wick and you happen to be sitting next to Terrence, just look, he might be crying.
Or even like the Avengers, like there's this awesome fight scene and then boom, Thor appears from the sky and lightning and thunder. At that point, I'm not cheering, I'm just crying. I'm bawling.
If you zoom in on Terrence's face, it will look like Mr. Azwan Tan's face during the national anthem. Terrence looking up and tears streaming down his face.
Yeah, especially Top Gun.
Yeah,
I think when watching Top Gun, wow, there are a lot of those moments. The sad moments, or even just the moment where how they shot the plane sequences. Anyway, But my thing is, even imagine that, and then you add in feelings of patriotism to that, and it's probably super overwhelming. I mean, this guy Azwan Tan, he's sounds like he's volunteers at the grassroots level and all that as well, right?
And he's a teacher.
So he's a teacher. So there is I mean, he's considered frontline worker, I suppose. So there's a lot. I think just thinking about what NDP was for a lot of people this year, it's the first time they've gathered in big groups with big crowds to just partake in a giant collective event. And then being the audience was a big part of it. And then you watch the show and everything's so well coordinated, hundreds and thousands of people involved. And then, the military parade, everything. So it all just comes together in this moment. Then suddenly you stop and you sing Majulah Singapura. And then this outpouring of emotions over the last 2 years. I mean, I just felt, I understand where he's coming from. I'm not crying. I'm not crying. I'm watching at home, but I'm like, okay, it's nice to see the Singapore back on its feet and all that. But I can imagine being there and the emotions just being super overwhelming.
Yeah. I think I'm super glad that so far there hasn't been negative feedback or any backlash to him crying. Because on one hand, if I were to tell you, yo man, they just showed this video of this guy crying in NDP while singing the national anthem, I won't lie, my first thought was because I think last time also there was someone who during, what was it? There was a live broadcast or something, and then there was a national anthem being played and someone stood up and started singing. Do you remember?
Oh, it was during the National Day rally. I think one of the National Day rallies. Then I think there was a performance of Home by Kit Chan. She was literally performing Home right before the National Day rally.
Yeah.
And one person in the audience stood up and just started singing and dancing, swaying to the music. And that I don't know about you, but for me that was a very big performative aspect to that lah.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And I think that's the difference, because we have spoken and shared our thoughts on other public displays of people crying in the past. Be it in Parliament, be it in like I guess mainly Parliament. Recently there was one CEO on LinkedIn who posted a picture of himself crying as he wrote a lengthy post about how he felt having to let go his employees lah. And it was just it was a close up of his face with tears coming down lah. And he got a lot of backlash for that. And I was trying to think, okay, what is the difference? And I think exactly what you said. This one, right? It felt like he didn't fucking order the camera to be on his face.
Yeah,
he probably did not care if anyone saw him. And there are 25,000 people there. He was just one of the 25,000 people. And that's why when they cut, it felt like, okay, this is real. He was doing it for no one. He was just feeling that emotion. And I think that is a big difference. Because when people cry in Parliament, of course, certain crying instances also feel a bit more organic. But we have also talked about certain things that felt like it was really a performance. Right?
Yeah.
This one, looking at it, was like, wow, I also felt emotional. And like what you said, I can imagine, because when I was studying abroad, I went for one Singapore day in New York. So I remember them playing the national anthem, and I also felt like, wow, it feels like home lah. It feels like home.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It was during the national anthem. Not while you were munching on chicken rice. No, chicken rice or something. Because I think on those Singapore days, for those without context, they bring a lot of hawker fare, like authentic hawker fare, to these events. And as a Singaporean, you go there and it's the first taste of authentic Singapore food in years for some people. So it's a big deal lah, right?
I'm sure people cry with the prata lah. I'm sure people cry with the prata. Confirm.
I don't think the prata. I think the chicken rice, the laksa, is those things
prata
that make
also
people
lah.
cry.
Prata fucking shock, no.
But prata, technically, you can get like Malaysian restaurants overseas, roti canai, that kind of thing.
You can get
right?
chicken rice also overseas.
But different, still different from the
don't
Singapore
give me shit
flavor.
Don't shit on the prata. No, prata overseas is fucking great. But anyway.
Anyway.
No, what were we going to say? Well, you finish your thought. You finish your shitting on prata.
No, I was just pointing out it's not a race thing. It's not a race thing. That's why we're talking about prata versus chicken rice or anything. I say it's a Singaporean thing. As Singaporeans, what we all identify with.
The fact that you just equated roti prata and roti canai shows you know so little about the pride behind roti prata lah. But anyway, I think because the national anthem almost subconsciously has factored so deeply in everyone's life, because when you go to school, every day, right, you hear it. Anyone who went to public primary school in Singapore, you would hear it. So, yeah, I think just hearing it, I can totally understand, and that's why, like, I think, wow, this guy it's awesome, lah. And what makes me even happier is that I just found out from reading that his article that the cameraman as well as the coverage director for the entire show are two people that I recently worked with on a army reality show that will be coming out in the next few months. Shout out to Ishak. What's his full name?
Don't know the name. Don't know the name.
Fuck you, I know his name.
Just like big actor. Don't know the name of the crew.
Shut up.
Just say thank you very much, but don't know your name.
No, I know the Ishak.
Classic,
I know his
classic big star.
No, Ishak Jamid. Ishak Jamid, and who's the cameraman who also captured like some very photogenic spectator at the 2015 parade. And Lee Chu Yen, who is the TV, who was kind of calling the shots of where to cut, because there were 14 camera feeds. So shout out to both of them. And I think like that is the beauty of having a National Day parade, like, where you capture moments like this. And I'm so happy that it got captured, lah. Happy that it got captured.
But so actually, just talking about the idea of like standing out when you're feeling those emotions. So, are you saying that, you know, if let's say everyone's sitting down, let's say this moment didn't let's say it wasn't during the singing of the national anthem where you have to stand up lah. But let's say it was like everyone's still sitting down and all, and then maybe not national anthem, maybe one of the NDP songs or something, and then this guy stood up and started singing and swaying and crying and all that. Would you think differently? of his actions?
I don't.
Would it have that same effect, you think?
I think it would have the same effect, but a bit less. A bit less. A bit, because, and I only say that because with 25,000 people there, right, one person standing up, it feels like it could still be done in anonymity and discreetly.
Yeah.
If it was a group of 10 people, then one person stands up, I would feel a bit different. But this one, yeah. But what about you?
It's a bit like I don't know about you, but have you been to let's say you go some classical music orchestra performance, that kind of thing, and then at the end, everyone's clapping and all that, right? And then after that, some people in the audience stand up and give standing ovation to the performers and all. I mean, overseas, I've always seen that, everybody stands up, everybody stands up, standing ovation, everything. In Singapore, I feel people a bit more hesitant to stand up and, clap and go crazy about it and all that. Partially because, people don't like to stand out that much. But if you're really feeling the emotion and you want to show your appreciation to the performers and all that, why not stand up? Why can't you stand up and show that, I really love whatever you're doing right now, and then people around don't judge me for wanting to stand up and show my appreciation.
Yeah, true. But in this case also, it wasn't a live band performing the national anthem. What? If you're at a performance or classical music, it's same way like clapping, right? You clap to show appreciation. You stand up, so they can see how much you like it, Whereas this one, if you're playing the national anthem, I mean, you can stand up, no issue. But just like it would feel like, I think it would still feel as authentic, in the given the context that he's one of 25,000 people there,
Yeah. And I think, like you say, it's not, when the national anthem is playing, it's mostly it feels more like a meditative kind of activity, right? As opposed to you're not like you said, there's no band or one person who is singing the song and you're showing his appreciation and you want to be seen. No, you're just one of like a whole group of people who are doing the same action, and in your own space, in your own time, you feelings are welling up and you feel those emotions, and then the tears start streaming down his face. Like you said, I don't think he was hoping or expecting that people would see him crying or what, right?
Yeah.
So it still feels like there is a bit of a difference between the act of giving like a standing ovation or standing up while someone's performing NDP song versus what this man was doing, right?
Yeah, exactly. And this one, I'm pretty sure that he also maybe didn't expect to cry, but these kind of things, they happen. It just felt like, I mean, I would imagine that for him also could be quite overwhelming, like becoming so famous overnight as the crying man. The crying man. It's going to be like captured forever, like the crying man. Even Lawrence Wong posted about it, right?
Yeah. So basically that one image, I think, is the image of NDP 2022
Yeah.
So that's what you live with in history. I mean, but it's a better thing to have in your resume than that poor boy who was caught on camera giving the third finger, and subsequently had to, he's lived with that day in infamy, and then he became like a meme, and his school had to counsel him and everything, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, it's funny. Like a few years ago, that became a meme, but this one, it became a meme. In a different way.
Yeah, it has become a meme. I've seen companies jumping on social media and using it as a meme. Just the act of him crying and all. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
man. But yeah, cool. All right.
Cool.
Are we?
But if let us know if you all also cried during National Day Parade. Don't be shy about it. Just share with the details and what you're thinking. Yeah.
Either like let us know if you cried during NDP or if you frequent Orchard Towers. And better yet, if you cry during NDP
because of the news.
And then after that went Orchard Towers. That would be that would be king. We would like have you as a guest on our next podcast.
Yeah. I was going to say that if you are crying because of the news of Orchard Towers also,
I see.
then it's also worth sharing your thoughts with us.
Yeah, that one can.
Yeah.
Cool.
But yes, but also share your comments with us, because here we are talking about the one shot comment.
One shot comment. Do you have a one shot comment?
I think Jungle Jimbo thankfully just highlighted something related to our last podcast. He highlighted Sudhir's essay in JOM, because I think JOM has launched already. And Sudhir wrote one articles is called "National Service: Why We Need a Deeper Discussion." So, like, to refresh what JOM is about, I think he's trying to build a sort of like a New Yorker for a Singaporean audience, right? Where they use long form essays to talk about issues in the area, in the region, and specifically in Singapore. So now that it's launched, I think you can show some love by checking out the article, which is posted on our subreddit as well.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Cool.
And what is your one shot comment?
My one shot comment is by SG Red Shah 7 days ago. And they were just bewildered that both of us have never ever mentioned our one shot thing to be The Boys, which is an Amazon Prime show. And it's my one shot comment because I think it's a sign from the universe, man. There've been at least 4 people in the past week who have been asking, hey, have you watched The Boys? Even though it's a show that's been there for like a few years, it's been on my list for the longest time, and I think now I have to give it a shot, man. I'm on the tail end of Sex Education, which is a fucking great show, but my next show is going to be The Boys. Official announcement, it is going to be The Boys.
Official announcement. Jump on Reddit and talk about it.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So I'm excited because the premise, from what I understand, is like a group of superheroes that kind of run like a corporate company. There's one leader, and it shows the very dark side of what it means to be a superhero. It's like Avengers, but a non-wholesome version. So exciting.
Should be interesting.
Interesting.
It's on Amazon, right?
Yeah, it's on Amazon. But you kind of need to figure out how to watch it legally through the region, because I don't think it's on Amazon Singapore. I don't think it's on Amazon Singapore. So I need to figure out how to watch it legally. I repeat, legally. Pay for it. And not just freeload. But cool.
That's right.
Okay, cool. And now on to the one shot thing.
I think my one shot thing these past few days has to be this show. And it's back on Netflix for season 2. It's called Indian Matchmaking. I mean, check your brains at the door, everyone. It's not meant to be very intellectual like The Boys or anything like that. But
that was your weekend escape, is it?
A little bit. Yeah. I haven't got through everything, but I just watched like maybe 2 episodes or something, and then I was like, oh, okay, it's pretty interesting. Now it's interesting also because they actually don't just jump into a new season and all that. They actually follow the lives of those people from the first season. Even those that are no longer actively working with Seema from Mumbai. Like them having their lives after encountering Seema. So it's a bit more of a Singapore, almost a Singapore social kind of vibe to it, where you're following the lives of these people as well. Yeah. So for those who watched season 1, definitely season 2 is a must watch.
Wow, cool. That's awesome. Seema from Bombay is back. Seema from Bombay.
From Mumbai.
Oh, from Mumbai. I mean, Bombay, same thing, like just different.
No. I mean, I realize now she specifically says Mumbai.
Mumbai.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, my one shot thing is this video series on Vice that's been around for a while, and I think I've watched a couple of videos before. It's called Informer. And what they do is they basically get people from different industries to talk about the darker side of their industries, and they are kept anonymous. They wear a mask. I think their voice is slightly tweaked. But the one I watched last time was the secret yacht parties of the mega rich. And then the one that I saw pop up that was released recently was the dark side of rich kids volunteering abroad. And it's just these insiders who just spill the beans, spill the tea. And it's fucking morbid, man. Like this one example, the dark side of rich kids volunteering abroad. She said, yeah, she was volunteering, but then she realized that working with these kids, they in the background, the kids were like dirtied up to make them look poorer to add to the volunteers' experience. So the people who run these volunteer things, they and I have actually kind of like met some people who were doing that kind of thing in Swaziland years ago when I was studying. And they also had the same concern. They said it feels like we come here, we pay $4,000 for 2 weeks, but by the end of it, nothing gets built. So since then, I always wonder, and then you hear stories of like, yeah, where the money actually goes to. And in this case, yeah, the money goes to the people running the thing who make the kids at the schools that these rich volunteers come to help. They make them look poorer. Wow. Then it's like, holy shit.
So this is a recent video they've uploaded?
Yeah, 31st July. But they have a whole series over the past few years.
Yeah.
So if you just maybe feeling a bit too happy about life, thinking everything is too perfect, go watch like the 7-minute video that will make you question mankind.
Yeah.
Wow. Cool.
After you watch Indian matchmaking, then you want to
maybe you watch this first, then you watch Indian matchmaking.
Yeah.
Cool, man. All right.
Cool.
Another podcast in the bag. And
back in the game.
Back in the game, and we'll talk to y'all soon.